So I trust that you're as shocked by this title as I am, but you can only imagine how shocked I truly was when it happened. And when you look at what this shock is about, it's one person's gaze, one person's awareness looking at you, and then how your awareness processes it. So it's the pressure of two awarenesses. And that's what this video is about. When you have these two pressures, all you want is for things to go back to normal. All you want is for things to be unified again, right? Instead of having two, you just want to be one. And that's how it is when you're talking to friends or family, right? You're not so aware of yourself and them. There's just this common ground. You're comfortable. It's not like a new person where you feel, oh, what should I say and how should I be? You're just a common ground of talking. So you want everything to settle. And at the time, if you were smart like me, you didn't say anything. You just allowed that whole thing to pass. Because what are you going to say to your mom in order to exacerbate, in order to make that situation worse? You want to let it settle. You want to let it pass naturally and come back to the common ground. So this feeling of tension, this feeling of awareness anxiety, right, among two other things that we're going to talk about in a second, is what pushed me in order to become free of this pressure, this awareness anxiety is what pushed me to be able to find at any time a feeling of common ground. A feeling of shared awareness understanding so that there aren't two opposing and terrifying awarenesses. Right? Or one looking at you and then you reacting in order to try to feel comfortable or impress upon the other one your value or your comfort or your power or your confidence or so on. So that became my life's work. So let's talk about these three things that can be a common ground in order that you don't feel this pressure anytime. So the three things where you do feel pressure are: one, awareness, as we described; two, emotional discomfort, okay, the feeling of rejection, the feeling of fear, the feeling of anxiety, okay? So these are related, but they are distinct. There's a quality to awareness. And this is something very interesting that in my time, my stint at TNL, Seduction School, was something that they really had no interest in, either because that wasn't something that they were yet exposed to. The irony, the playfulness, is that the basis of their teaching is what they call awareness. But in fact, what it is attention and perception. Just to be aware of things around you in the common usage of the word, awareness. I'm aware. I'm aware of my hand. I'm aware of the wall, and so on, right? But when your mom's looking at you in that moment and all you want is to have a common ground, you're not aware of anything. The settling back to the common ground has a quality of presence. So awareness is not something you have. It's not something that you have for something, a hand or a wall or whatever. It's not something you're aware of. Now, this is going to be abstract until you wake up to see that you are this awareness. With your mom in that situation, you want to come back home to you. We can talk about the pain related to a dualist sense of awareness, a dualist awareness. This is to be very much contrasted with attention. Attention is a focusing, okay? You bring your attention to so-and-so, right? And when the attention is brought to so-and-so, then there's perception. Perception, right? So if you have as your basis of seduction attention and perception, then it's only a mechanism. It's only an afterthought, really. It's a mechanism, it's a technique. Very different than ego release. Very different than being free as awareness, okay? Very different than the open space that doesn't require any attention at all. Ow! Ow! So a little mosquito bites your leg, or I hear. I don't require attention to be able to hear. You don't need to listen. Do you need to listen in order to hear, or does sound just arise naturally in the open space that is awareness, that is consciousness, that is you? Okay? So, it's just happening. The senses are arising naturally in the field, in the unobstructed field of self, or awareness, or consciousness, right? And the more we train this, the more that it opens, and we just are ourselves. And this is true naturalness. Attention is just a modality. So what we're talking about now is a common ground that can be experienced in oneself as open all the time, and can be experienced with others as open all the time. It can be experienced as others open all the time. So your awareness and their awareness is an unobstructed field of consciousness, of possibility, of hearing, for example. If you put away all thoughts, put two people in a room and go like this, put all their thoughts away, or clap loud enough, as they do in Zen, then both people are right in the same place, spontaneously, right in the same place of awareness. So as these thoughts are not identified as the self, right? Of course, everyone's different. Of course, everyone has different thoughts and so on. But awareness itself is common. It's the common ground. So this is the beginning of awakening, the beginning of enlightenment. And I could probably end the video here and say that the next two components, emotion and physical sensation, will be talked about in the next video.